Ladies, allow me to ask you a question. By a show of hands, how many of you have a bucket list kind of dream? You know what I'm talking about. A someday when I win the lottery, I'm going to do this kind of dream. If you look around at the Zoom room, you will see that there are a number of us who have a bucket list kind of dream. My mom had a bucket list kind of dream, and at almost 90 years old, she died. And unfortunately, she never did get around to making her bucket list dream come true. I didn't know about my mom's bucket list dream until after she had passed away. It was totally by accident. We were preparing for my mom's memorial service when my son discovered and read one of my mom's old college term papers, which she had written back in 1988. My son wanted permission to read from my mom's term paper at the memorial service. And part of the assignment for my mom had been to describe her ideal life 5 years into the future. An entire page had been dedicated to the description of this dream. And I have my mom's words here. Would it be all right if I shared a little bit of what she wrote? I live there in a house very near the sea. There is a bright yellow light above the doorway. There is a fireplace, and a wonderful fire is glowing. Stairs lead to the bedroom and outside to the sea. An elderly and handsome gentleman joins me for breakfast. He takes my hand and we walk in the sun and sand. When I read those words for the first time, a million thoughts swirled in my head. I was thinking things like, how could I not have known about this? Why did my mom never share this with her family? Why didn't she ever do it? The one thought, though, that hit me like a ton of bricks was this. My mom had died with her dream inside. You know how when your brain is trying to comprehend something, but you just can't get it to make sense? That was me. My heart ached for my mom because she never lived her dream. I felt her loss. Then fear flooded over me. My mom had written that paper when she was 62 years old. Here I was at age 65 reading about my mom's unfulfilled dream and so scared that my own dream would suffer the same fate. I immediately jumped into action, trying desperately to reverse the passage of time. I could hear the clock ticking. I felt like I was on borrowed time. And I think we've all felt that way at one time or another. I started investing in my personal development and my personal growth. I invested multiple 5 figures in programs, seminars, coaches, whatever I thought would help me make my dream life a reality. You may have had a similar experience. You're in this flurry of activity, you're making progress, but you're not really where you want to be. And you start thinking things like, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this happening? What's taking so long? Then it did happen. The solution, the secret, the hack, my dream. It happened by being a speaker at the Transformational Speakers Summit in Palm Springs, California. I took a big risk to buy a ticket, upgraded it to have the opportunity to speak on stage, and that is where my journey began to being the sought-out speaker I am today. It was at the end of that event that I met my coach. I did not know how I was going to pay for her. Truthfully, I did not have the money. I was even scared to complete the information form. I agonized over it. How am I going to pay for this? I kept asking myself. Have you ever had that conversation with yourself about something you really, really wanted to do, but you had no idea how you were going to make it happen? From that moment on, though, I knew I had found the right person for my next best steps. And even though I had limiting thoughts like, what if this doesn't work? What if I'm not good enough? I did it in spite of the fear I was feeling. I did it. I did it, and here I am. Now I just want to tell other people what they can do to make their dreams come true, because I know there are people here today who have felt exactly the way I have felt. I know you struggle with this. 98% of people die without fulfilling their goals and dreams. And my mom and I were in the same boat as some of you. I'll be honest here. I'm not saying that I've discovered the cure for cancer. I am saying, though, that I've discovered the cure for cancer of the mind and cancer of the soul. And if you were me, wouldn't you want to tell everyone? Luckily for you, you don't have to go through what I went through, because I have boiled it down to the essential elements and the precise steps. This is going to sound simple, and it is, but so few people actually do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it, so it will take you less time than it took me. My clients tell me that this is a game changer for them, and you're going to want to write this down, so get ready. Here are the 4 steps that you must follow. Number 1, you must clarify your heart's desire, and you must do so with absolute clarity and precision. Number 2, you need to identify the biggest obstacles that could get in your way. And number 3, you create new beliefs that cancel out the obstacles. You then create a new self-image based on those new beliefs. All right, let me repeat this for you. Clarify your heart's desire, identify the obstacles, create new beliefs that will then form the foundation of a new self-image. And there you have it. I told you it would sound simple. If you've read self-help books, or you've taken courses before, but you haven't gotten the results that you expected, it's not your fault. Most gurus tell you what to do, but they don't tell you exactly how to do it. When I coach clients, I show them how. I walk them through it step by step. And this process can change the course of your life. No matter your age, your race, gender, socio-economic status, or even disability. Here's the catch, though. You need to be willing to make the change. So how do you apply these 4 steps to fulfill your dream? Well, I used them a long, long time ago, and I didn't even realize it. I was 4 years old. I was lying on the floor with my siblings, our heads propped up on our hands and our elbows in front of the TV, watching cartoons. In one of the cartoons, there was a scene with Parisian can-can dancers with their legs and skirts swishing in the air. At that point, I turned to my older siblings and I declared, I'm going to Paris someday. That was step number 1. It was a clear and precise statement of what I wanted. I didn't say I wanted to travel or that I wanted to travel to Europe or even to France. With all the confidence of a determined 4-year-old, I declared it as if it were already true. I'm going to Paris. Here's an important part for you. I want you to think about your big dream goal. What is that one thing that you want to be, to do, or to have? And I want you to write it down now on a piece of paper. Don't worry if it's practical or even possible. Write down what you really, really want. And in a moment, I will ask for a brave volunteer to share her big dream goal. You can unmute or wave your hand if you have the courage to share your big dream goal with everyone. Marcia, is that you?
That's me. Can I go now?
Absolutely.
I would like to use the income that my husband and I receive from rental property to visit, to have a place where we can live in the islands around Australia for a 6-week period of time.
For a 6-week cruise?
For a 6-week period of time.
Okay, wonderful. So you want to purchase some property so that you can live there for 6 weeks on the islands around Australia.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Who else has a beautiful dream goal she would like to share? Yes. Rebecca.
So I have several.
That's good.
A lot, actually, and I really could use your help. And I know that we've talked about it, but I guess I have so many, but I wanted to try to prioritize the one that I need to work on the most. I have the wellness center in Independence, and it is fully furnished, and I have the other side for other business owners and entrepreneurs to sublet space under a shared community space. And in that, I have a lot of bridal gowns. So I'm trying to find the people to rent or sublease these spaces to fill them up. And I keep getting all kinds of different, I keep getting tackled with different things.
Okay, and we did talk about this, and it's not just a business goal of leasing out the property. You have this big vision of creating a wellness center with multiple businesses and a lobby thriving with wellness events, making a contribution to the community and helping small wellness practitioners. So it's really part of this big vision that you have. All right.
Yeah, and part of the sublet space, the one side is the wellness side, which is the quiet zone, and the other side is business owners and entrepreneurs that may not have a wellness center, but would like to work into a shared space.
All right. Thank you both ladies for sharing. And you see they're quite different. All right. But a big important goal to the ladies involved. All right. So when you are clear on what is most important to you, your goal is going to get you excited every day. If your goal doesn't excite you, your motivation to achieve it will disappear very quickly when you get obstacles, and there will be obstacles. This is why you need to understand the process behind goal setting and goal achieving, and your understanding will demystify what it takes to live the life of your dreams. So now that you've written your goal, I'm going to share with you the #1 mistake people make when they decide on a goal, because I don't want you to make this mistake. The #1 mistake people make when setting a goal is to state their goal with a focus on the opposite of what they really want. I'm not kidding here. Here's what I mean. Say your goal is to be debt-free. And I'm just wondering if one of the people participating today didn't write that down. I want to be debt-free so I can travel or whatever. Well, your focus is on debt. So guess what? You get more debt. What you really want is more money so you won't have debt. So ask for the money, not the debt. think about what you're going to have when you're debt free and state that in your goal. So if you want to buy a new vacation home or a new boat, when you are debt free, then ask for the vacation home, ask for the boat. Don't use the word debt at all. In fact, the word debt is a good word to get rid of altogether from your vocabulary. Now, if you made this mistake, all right, I'd like you to correct it now. Everybody close your eyes. We won't look, all right, while you correct your mistake. And if it was difficult for you to get in touch with what you really, really want, in other words, your heart's desire, don't worry. It's a lot more common than you think. I can help you get in touch with your heart's desire, and you'll feel a whole lot better when you get it written down on a piece of paper. So once you have a clear and precise goal, you're going to start thinking of all the reasons why you won't be able to achieve it. Crazy, right? But that's the way we've been programmed. So here's step 2, identifying the obstacles that could get in the way of your dream. So write down your top 3 obstacles that could get in the way of accomplishing your dream. Just the top 3. You might be able to think of a lot more. And I'm going to ask somebody to share just one of her top 3 obstacles. So you say you want to do something, and as soon as you say it or as soon as you write it down, you hear, but. What follows after that but is one of the obstacles. So who would like to share one of her obstacles? Anybody? All right. Rebecca, what's one of your obstacles?
Well, right now with the Wellness Center, the people that are coming to look at it really like it and they're interested. And then they call me back later and say they want to wait through this election. And then after we went through that, then they kind of want to wait through this COVID.
All right.
I know that's a tackling one.
I'm sorry?
It sounds like a real big tackle for you. I'm sure that you'll figure it out.
So Marcia, would you be willing to share any obstacles to your achieving your dream?
The cost of health insurance.
The cost of health insurance. All right. Would you then be retiring early to do this, or just not having health insurance in Australia? In other words, what's going to happen to your current health insurance?
It's an investment related question.
Okay. All right. So you're going to need to have enough money to pay for health insurance plus buy the home.
Yes.
All right. So we have a couple of goals here, and we've identified some obstacles. Before I go on, is there anybody else who would like to share? Okay, Darlene. Time. All right. Where am I going to find the time? Because I'm running a business.
Right.
Catherine, what do you have?
Technology, the complications with technology and trying to figure it out. I want to try to create webinars, but I'm not sure exactly where to go, and I give up.
All right. Okay. You know it's possible to do these things, but it's beyond your technological level of understanding. All right. Anybody else? All right. We're going to move on. So no one wanted to burst my bubble when I was 4 years old, but when I learned of an opportunity to study in Paris, France during my junior year of college, well, the gloves came off. And what do you think the biggest obstacle was? Money. All right. How are we going to pay for it? My mother asked. You see, I was attending college on a tuition waiver because my mom worked for the college. the tuition waiver would not apply to the study in Paris program. So I needed to get my hands on a lot of money in a fairly short period of time. And I applied for, and I did receive a scholarship, a grant, and a loan, but it still wasn't enough. I needed a summer job that would earn me a lot of money. Now, back in the early 70s, manufacturing jobs were the high-paying jobs. My boyfriend worked in the steel mill in Pittsburgh, and during the summer, he earned enough money to carry him through the school year. My summer jobs were answering phones at City Hall for minimum wage, which was $1.25 an hour back in 1970. So I did what any smart, goal-driven 70s girl would do. I looked in the want ads in the newspaper, and I found the one job that would pay the most money and that I had a decent shot at getting. So ladies, have you heard that phrase, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? If I tell you what I ended up doing, do you promise to keep it in this room? All right.
Or in this Zoom.
In the Zoom room. In the Zoom room. I don't want to see this on Facebook later on today. All right. So ladies, I auditioned for and was hired as a go-go dancer at a dive bar in a not so good part of town. But hey, I got the money. And I sailed across the ocean on the Queen Elizabeth II out of New York Harbor, and I never looked back. My victory was permanently embedded in my brain and my heart the first time I saw the Eiffel Tower. I remember that moment as if it happened this morning. I was crossing the street in Paris on my way to do my laundry for the first time, and I just happened to look up, and there in the distance, I could see the faint outline of the Eiffel Tower. I literally stopped in the middle of the street. This was the iconic proof that my dream had come true. How was I able to pull off the improbable, if not the impossible? What happened between age 4 and my sophomore year in college is what steps 3 and 4 are all about. It's all the things I unwittingly did that were moving me closer and closer to my Paris dream. And it's the step-by-step process that I'm going to teach you right now, and it's the process that I help my clients implement. Looking back at my Paris experience, I realized that I had unconsciously created a new self-image based on new beliefs about myself and what was possible for me. That new self-image and those new beliefs landed me in Paris to study. It took me decades to figure out what had happened. Remember, step 3 is creating new beliefs that cancel out the obstacles. So you must create a belief system that supports what you want. I started believing that I was going to Paris, that I could earn the money, that I would be the first person in my family to travel to Europe, that I would and could do whatever it would take to go to Paris to study. My new beliefs helped me create a new self-image, an image of me living and studying in Paris. You must dream your dream until it becomes a reality. In fact, Vincent van Gogh said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. And that's what I had done. I daydreamed constantly about Paris. We call that using your imagination, by the way, and using it to your advantage by imagining what you want, not all the things that could go wrong, which we call worrying. Visualization is a technique that Olympic athletes use. They visualize themselves stepping up onto that platform and receiving their gold medal. I visualized walking the streets of Paris, taking my picture by the Eiffel Tower and sitting in a cafe. And I let my imagination run wild. I really got emotionally involved with the idea. And how do you do that? I became French. In 7th grade, I pretended I could speak French, and I had my classmates completely fooled. After all, my fellow 7th graders in Parma, Ohio had no clue what the French language really sounded like. So it wasn't hard to fool them. It wasn't until they were going to tell the teacher, because they thought it was so cool to have a French-speaking kid in class, that I had to come clean. Dreaming, visualization, imagination, becoming emotionally involved with the idea, all this created a movie script of my life in Paris. And I was the leading lady of that movie. And I played it over and over and over again in my mind. My belief was so strong that the only possible outcome for me was Paris, and that's what happened. All obstacles melted away in front of me. Now, you've probably done something like this already and didn't even realize it. Remember when you were a kid and you would fantasize about being a superhero or a movie star or the Lone Ranger? You put on your Superman PJs with the cape, you co-starred with Brad Pitt, or maybe you named your bike after the Lone Ranger's horse. And then you grew up and you stopped daydreaming. Well, I can teach you how to do it again as an adult with intention and purpose. In fact, we're going to practice it right now. I want you to take a look at your goal. I want you to read your 3 obstacles. Now ask yourself, what are the limiting beliefs behind these obstacles? So let's take Marcia first. All right, Marcia's got this dream. She wants to take her investment income and purchase a home on the islands around Australia and live there for 6 weeks at a time. But there's this money issue, all right? And the money issue is, how do we afford for both the health insurance, which is a big expense, and the vacation home? There's not enough money to do it right now. And when are we going to have enough money? So what are the limiting beliefs behind that obstacle? Marcia, can you guess? What are the limiting beliefs that you're telling yourself behind that obstacle?
That it's too much.
Yeah, that it's too much money, that you don't have the money. Where am I going to get the money from?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Rebecca, all right, you had the goal to create this wellness center, have it leased out to everybody, and have this thriving community, but you're getting all kinds of pushback from people. They want to wait because the economy is uncertain. They want to see what's going to happen with the election. What are the limiting beliefs behind that?
I think I'm taking ownership of what their challenges are rather than finding the ones that are ready.
Exactly. We have a tendency to say nobody wants to lease right now. Everybody's waiting to see what the economy is doing. And that is not true. There are people out there, there are businesses out there that want to jump on board. You just haven't attracted them yet. All right, so whenever you decide that you want to do something, or you think that you want to do something, and you have that voice in the back of your head that's telling you you can't do it, Well, that's your limiting belief talking you out of your dream. Now that you've identified your limiting beliefs, whether it's time, money, the economy, COVID, pick one of them to change. You write down the opposite of that belief. The opposite is, there are people out there who want to lease right now. I have all the money that I need. You write down the opposite of the limiting belief and ask yourself, what would you have to believe about yourself or your circumstance in order to make your dream come true? You would have to believe, I can get the money. I do have the money. I can find those people who want to lease right now. I do have the time. I know I can find the time. I can learn the technology. It's easy to learn the technology. I'll find people who can teach me the technology. In my mom's case, she would have had to believe that she could afford to live on a Caribbean island. She would have had to believe that she deserved it and that she had the resources to make it happen and that she could find that elderly and handsome gentleman to join her. When you write what you need to believe about yourself so that you can make your dream happen, that belief forms the foundation of your new self-image, and you can begin to imagine what life will be like when your dream is real for you. And that is the critical piece for you to work on. The steps that I've just shared with you were the crucial steps missing from my mom's Caribbean dream, and I could have taught my mom if I had known then what I know now. But my mom's limiting beliefs kept her stuck in spite of all her education and hard work. She didn't know she needed to create a new belief system that would support her. And she was stuck in those old limiting beliefs. When you create your new beliefs and become emotionally involved with them, and you become emotionally involved with them through the daydream, the imagination, the visualization, getting emotionally involved, you're going to be creating a new image about how you see yourself. And you're not going to see obstacles, you're going to see possibilities. All 4 of these steps played out in my life, and I knew clearly what I wanted, and I had unknowingly created a 15-year-long movie that culminated in my heart's desire. And with such an undefeatable belief system, I overcame all the obstacles and I sailed across the ocean. Then I came home. Fast forward 45 years to my mom's memorial service and the realization that my mom had never lived her dream. I had to ask myself, had my dream ended when I returned home from France? Where was that girl who'd been so determined, so undefeatable? This was a post-mortem revelation that was a kick in the pants. I had allowed a whole new belief system to take over when I returned from France. I was no longer the star in my movie. I was an extra in somebody else's movie. I graduated with a degree in French, followed a series of really pointless jobs until I went back to school to earn my MBA and landed what I thought was a dream job in Florida. But there had been growing dissatisfaction with the course that I had chosen. When I read my mom's term paper, I knew darn well I hadn't been living my dream. I had settled for a life I was beginning to regret. And from the world beyond, I heard my mom say, "What the heck are you waiting for?" Have you ever felt that your desires have been put on the back burner so that you could focus on your responsibilities and obligations? Before you know it, you're no longer living the life you want. You're simply going through the motions, waiting for retirement, doing what society has told you you're supposed to do. Deep down inside, though, you still have this dream that's waiting to be fulfilled. There's a hole, and you can't stop wondering what life would be like if you could only find a way to make your dream come true now. Over the years, I had let myself get sucked into the belief that I needed to get this type of job, live this type of life, behave this type of way. I had a hole in my bucket list, and that slow leak was draining the dream out of me. And even though I had been investing in my personal growth, limiting beliefs had dug deep, and I mean deep, into my subconscious mind. Getting on that plane to Palm Springs, California was like boarding the QE2 in New York Harbor. It was a declaration to myself and to the world that I am the transformational speaker I wanted to be. It was time to put into action the 4 steps that had worked so well for my Paris dream. The big difference was that I didn't want to take 15 years to make it happen. I wanted to make it happen as fast as possible because the clock was ticking. I knew clearly what I wanted. However, I had limiting beliefs. I told myself things like, I'm not young enough. I'm not thin enough. I don't have the right message. I'm not a good enough speaker. I needed to change my beliefs. So my new beliefs sounded like this. I am the perfect age and the perfect weight to be a transformational speaker. I am capable of learning and doing whatever is necessary to master the stage. I started acting like a transformational speaker. My speaker coach helped me craft my message, practice my stage presence, and improve my tonality. I participated in every speaking opportunity presented to me to gain visibility and to practice my expertise. I imagined myself on stage. I dreamed about what I would wear, how I would stand, what I would say. I heard people clapping. I practiced in empty rooms in front of a camera. I became a certified speaking coach so that I could help others while I was learning what I needed to know. I even studied the advice of the #1 speaking and vocal coach in America, Roger Love. I practiced his vocal warm-ups and his breathing exercises. I was like that Olympic athlete with her eye on the gold. I saw myself as a successful, sought-after speaker, a transformational speaker who's creating a global movement, one dream at a time. I declare it on my social media, on my website, in my bio. I declare it into being. I dream it into being, and I act it into being. Stop one moment. Close your eyes and picture your life as you want it to be. Marcia, close your eyes and picture you and your husband living in that home on the islands around Australia. What is life like? How do you feel? When I think of my dream, I feel alive and vibrant and successful, fulfilled, joyful, purposeful. Wouldn't you like to feel that every single day? Setting and reaching your goal is a process. It's a definite series of steps and strategies you can follow to ensure your success if they are implemented properly. I challenge you to reflect on the goal that you've written down today and to look at the obstacles that you've identified. Pick just one and commit to yourself that you will complete the next step before the end of this week. It's Tuesday. Make a commitment that by Friday, you will create a new belief, that you will start creating a new self-image. That means you need to see yourself differently. And in order to do that, you need to believe something different about yourself, your situation, your abilities, and what's possible for you. You can stop the leak in your bucket. Nobody else has simplified this process so that you can understand it from the very, very beginning. And it's why I created my company, Ready for Takeoff, to get you ready to live your dream and actually take the steps to make it happen. Your chances for self-fulfillment decrease exponentially each day you wait. People are waiting now because of COVID, because of the election, because of uncertainty, because of the economy. And if you don't take action now, you will sadly one day discover that you didn't wait too long. You won't need to worry if there's no more time left, because you'll know there's no longer any time left because you'll be on your deathbed. And I want to ask you, do you want your kids and your grandkids to make the same discovery my son and I made after my mom had passed away? I don't think you do. Start moving toward your goal. If my mom had just purchased the plane tickets, she would have been one step closer to making her dream a reality. And ladies, I say, let's go buy those damn plane tickets together. Thank you for allowing me to share my story and my mom's story. And we are on the same journey. The only difference is how our stories end. We have but 2 minutes left. And if there are any questions, I will gladly entertain them.